All right, all right. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We're live on YouTube, streaming on the Military Retirement Podcast channel on the Green Logbook YouTube channel, and we're also live on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm sure you see a new face here. It's not John. John's on vacation. He's taking a little bit of time off. We got Robert Luna on the line. He's hanging out with us today. Former Coast Guard, retired Coast Guard, and and better hair than me. So I appreciate you bringing that hair on the show today.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
No, it's awesome, dude. And I need to get there at some point in time. And I'm retired. I need to just let it go, right? Just I like that, man. It's awesome. So I wanted to take a second to let you know about our book. All right, everybody out there listening, we have a book called Bottom Line Up Front: What You Need to Know Before You Leave the Military. So if you go on Amazon and just type in Bottom Line Up Front book, kind of like the bluff, right? The bottom line up front. Easily found. It's got a guy running across a field in military uniform on the cover. Basically, what it is 10 short chapters on what you need to know before you leave the military, and it's good for folks who have left the military already, kind of just talking about what you're going to encounter, things like that. John and I wrote the book, and it was, talks about the things that we wished that we knew when we were leaving the military. We just kind of compiled it all into a short book to let everybody out there know. And it's probably the price of like a half a cup of coffee at like one of these coffee shops somewhere. So it's really cost effective, and it's out there for any veteran who wants to get educated on what they need to know. So easy enough. So Rob, man, tell me, dude, what has been going on with you? I've seen you like all over. I've gotten off of Facebook, but every so often, only when I'm on the desktop, I go
Right,
on there and I log on just to, manage the military retirement group.
right.
And I see your posts, I see your pictures, and I'm like, okay, this guy is doing some stuff.
Yeah.
What has been going on in the life of Rob Luna since you walked across America last?
Oh, let's see. Building a house
Okay,
for a World War II veteran. Just completed that project. And the World War II veteran, his name is Preacher. His nickname's Preacher.
preacher.
He is 99 years old, shot 28 times, 3
Wow,
Purple Hearts, 3 Bronze Stars. He worked
wow.
directly under General Patton. And he was one of the guys that I met on my journey within the first couple months. And I have a great interview on my page, Facebook page, AL2LA. And after that, we just had this incredible bond. 2 months ago, his family reached out because his house got destroyed by a tornado, ripped through
Hmm.
Mississippi.
Yeah,
And they were like, "Is there anything you can do? There's no help. Nobody's help." So of course, me being, retired military, I started just kind of brainstorming like, okay, is there any military units around that can maybe go up and shore up his roof or help them, rebuild the house?
yeah.
There was nothing like that. So my amazing team, I have a board member that lives about 3.5 hours away from there, and she took it on a personal mission, and we were able to partner up with Purple Heart Homes of North Carolina, an amazing, an amazing nonprofit that builds tiny homes for military veterans in need. And it's just not tiny homes. They also help with roofs. They build ramps for houses, plumbing and electrical. And if you qualify, it's all for free. And the name Purple Heart Homes is just a name. You do not need to have a Purple Heart to qualify for their services. Um, and we were able to partner up, and we built him a home in 2 weeks, about 14 days, from
Wow.
concrete pour to roof over the head to electrical plumbing. Um, all the furniture was donated, appliances were donated, everything was
Wow.
donated, and it truly was an amazing accomplishment to do in 2 weeks. So that was a big project. I mean, it was about 2 months of work leading up to the 2 weeks of chaos, I could say.
Wow.
Um,
So I got the website up here, Purple Heart Homes, and that's
yep,
Preacher right there, isn't it?
that is Preacher, and that's my
That's
photo.
Preacher.
I took that photo, and
That's awesome.
the photo I took when he invited me to his house, and he was like, "I want you to see my maters," and I was like, "All right, I'll go see your tomatoes." And I mean, he's lived on that property for over 77 years. He After he got out of the army, he had not much money in his pocket, and he bought 81 acres for $3,000 in
Man,
Mississippi, and he's lived on that land ever since.
why not?
So it
It's a hell of a
was
deal.
our duty to make sure that Preacher had a home for the rest of his life. So you can go on there, donate money to Purple Heart Homes. It is a truly amazing nonprofit with amazing people at the helm of that. Um, and I just can't thank them enough. There's also another nonprofit that helped with this 7 days for troops, and that is Scott Burns. He's a double amputee Marine, and what he does is he raises money for other nonprofits. He builds up a tower, and he stays in the tower for 7 days at a time, and he
Mhm.
raises money for his nonprofit and then another nonprofit. And that guy is also amazing to do what he does.
No, it sounds great.
And I mentioned these nonprofits because a lot of people don't know where to look for the nonprofits that actually do.
Right.
Um, and I'm very careful on who I partner up with, and those are two that I will consistently work with until the day I'm removed from this earth.
So I
The other, go ahead.
no, this is awesome because there's so many out there, like you just mentioned that we don't know about. I mean, just Googling nonprofits in my area comes up with a lot of them are not in service anymore, but a lot of them are very much so in service.
Right,
And I was doing the same thing. I was looking at nonprofits, and I connect with other nonprofits here on the show as well. And it it's a matter of wanting to get involved, right? They may not be in
correct,
my immediate area, but it's like, okay, well, the feeling of service is still there even after you left the service, right?
correct.
So you want to get
Yes,
involved, and you want to keep going. That's the thing,
correct.
and it's you can either start your own nonprofit, which we talked a little bit about offline,
Right,
or you can get involved with one that's already going, learn from that, and then potentially start your own nonprofit. And
right,
this is something that you started, right? You did your own nonprofit. Is that correct?
correct, correct.
So tell me a
AL
little bit
to
about
LA.
that.
So my nonprofit centers around mental health,
Hmm.
and um, it all happened when I had my mental health crisis. 72 hours, no sleep. I only had 2 hours of sleep, and I almost pulled the trigger. I almost did.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah.
even gonna lie. When I went to go get help, it was 6 months before I get my first appointment to see a psychiatrist. 6 months,
Just
and they
through the
were like
VA.
VA
Yeah.
and private. It's not
Yeah.
just the VA; it's private also. Um, and I cried the 988, the phone call, the computer.
Right.
It's just not the same, right? I need to see somebody in person. Um, but my primary care doctor, I love her to death. She actually saved my life because she was like, Robert, you need to start doing something to get yourself out of the environment you're in when you have these thoughts. So I took to
Yeah.
walking. And I was walking 1 to 2 miles a day. And then here come 3 months later, I'm doing anywhere from 10 to 20 a day. About month number 4 and 5, there were days where I would do 40 to push
Mm-hmm.
myself to truly, because, and those were days where I knew I needed it because in my head, I could not shut off the thoughts of, you know, how am I going to remove myself from this earth? What am I going to do today? I would literally wake up in the mornings. First thing that would pop in my head and be like, all right, how am I going to kill myself today? So, and
Wow.
then I would just start laughing. I would literally start laughing because I'm like, in the 28 years in the Coast Guard, I had never had these thoughts. Never.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I lost all sense of who I was. When when I speak around military units, I
Mhm.
equate leaving the service to the same time you join the service. You know,
Mhm.
when you go in, some guys had the long hair at boot camp, and that first day you get shaved bald. They
Yeah,
strip you of your civilian clothes and they put you in your uniform, right? It's the same thing that happens when you retire or get out of the military service. You're stripped of your uniform. You're stripped of everything you have known for years. But the difference is you don't have your battle buddies next to you to pump you up and keep you going every
yeah.
single day like you do in boot camp.
Right,
You
right.
have to find them again. And when and I don't know if you've experienced this, but the day you walked out the door, the phone call stopped. The
Yes.
all your buddies and friends that you thought were your buddies and friends in the military were like, "Oh, we're gonna keep in contact. We're gonna,"
Right. Yeah, that
crickets.
doesn't happen.
Like
That doesn't
it
happen.
doesn't happen. It does not happen, and I want people out there to really understand that because if you come to grips with that while you're still in service, you're gonna be better off than I was when I got out.
Yeah. And I think it's because it's a different life now, right? So you've adopted the life of a civilian now after you leave. They still have
Right.
their mission going. They're still
Right.
like within that brotherhood, that tribe. They still have that mission going. Now
Correct.
it's like you retired or you left the service, and it's like, okay, well, I'm on my own now. Like you can always keep in contact with them, right? You can always text them back and forth.
Right.
It may take a little longer to answer or whatever, or if they do answer. Uh, but now it's like you have to figure out your own way now, and it's tough because you're so used to that, and it's
Yes.
hard. I went through the
Yeah.
same thing, dude. I
Yes.
went through the same thing.
Yeah. It's hard when you don't know. But if I went through it again now, oh, I'd be golden. I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And as I'm going from military units to high schools to colleges and speaking,
Hmm.
um, more and more often I'm getting text messages from um, active duty members um, just wanting to check in with me to let me know that they're okay now.
Yeah.
And I go into these units and I don't even really mention suicide or the suicidal thoughts. I just talk about my foundation, and my foundation is set up to where when somebody calls, I will help facilitate an in-person um, consult with either a therapist, psychiatrist, or counselor
Yeah.
in person. Um, and I also try to ensure that those people truly understand what this person is going through.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to find veterans who are trained counselors or therapists and things like that is going to be really one of the core missions of my foundation because I have found that veterans and active duty members they only want to talk to the ones that have been through it just
Hmm.
like they have.
Yeah.
And that's how I break my um, when I go to speak at units, I understand that I'm at a disadvantage. One, I was in the Coast Guard. So what the hell is a coastie gonna tell a Marine that was in the stuff about life and how to handle it, right? And two, I tell them I was there. I was there for a whole year. I was in the Nag. I was up in the River. I stepped foot in Iraq. Like I was there. I wasn't in the shit, but I was close enough to understand what they were going
Yeah,
through.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I break that down to them, I see it. I always pick out the person that seems the less interested in the group, and I key on
Hmm.
them. I'm like, that's who I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get that person, and I'll see them. They'll start sitting up. They'll take a drink. They'll wake up, and they want to hear my story
Yeah.
on how I got through my stuff and how I'm getting through it. Because there's no playbook. I need to let everybody know this. There's not a if you do A, B, and C, you're gonna be fine. There's no playbook because it's
Right.
different for every person. And there's no timeline because I still have days where I disassociate from everything. I still have days where I will have periods of just straight crying.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know, but I
That happens.
yeah, but I know that's the process for me to
Yeah.
heal. And I understand that and I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
So so between me and my board members and my team, um, we're in the process. We had an amazing thing happen a couple weeks ago. A private donor has verbally given us 100 acres in Alabama to start my dream, my long-term goal. It was a 10-year goal, but now it's going to be
Hmm.
like it's like here now.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're only a year into this nonprofit, um, where it's going to be a animal and agricultural therapy center for homeless veterans and active duty members. And plan is, horses, animals, the agriculture side, where 75% of all produce will go to homeless shelters and food banks. The other
So
25% will be sold at farmers markets to help offset the costs of the farm. Um, 40 of the tiny homes that are going to be built will be for homeless veterans, and they will have up to a year. And what that does is it gives them an address.
hmm
And when they get an address, guess what they can do? They can apply for
you can
their
apply
VA
for jobs.
benefits
Yeah.
and their jobs, right?
Benefits. Okay.
Um, and then the other 10 homes are going to be set aside for active duty members coming back from conflicts or war so that they have a chance to reconnect with their significant other
Hmm.
to help curb the divorce rate in the military,
Yeah. That's huge.
which is
That's huge.
which is huge. Because I want them when I want them to come back, I don't want them to go right back into the family environment and right back into work. I want them to take a step back and um, reflect on what they
Yeah.
went through so that they can talk with their spouse one on one with no distractions. And the beauty of it is we will have on staff marriage counselors that will be there to help them reconnect.
And what a
And
setting too. Like
here,
on
yes,
a farm, right?
oh
Around
yes,
nature. Yeah. What a
yes.
setting.
We're
That'd be
gonna have
great.
we're gonna have trails. We're gonna have fishing ponds. Hopefully, there's a stream on there um, to have Mother Nature on our team to heal. These veterans and active duty members. Um, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of work. Um, our team is still kind of in shock with the whole generosity of the 100 acres.
Yeah. It's
Um,
huge.
it's huge. But working with this creature house, the contacts that I've made that want to help with
Hmm.
this is just growing, and I can't wait to start seeing my vision come to reality,
It's
and
amazing, man.
and and help other nonprofits grow themselves. The nonprofit world, we have the saying "stronger together,"
Hmm.
because um, when you group some nonprofits, and I'm talking about the nonprofits that are doers, that are literally boots on the ground, not the
Yeah.
ones that collect money and then send it off, through the electronic means, say, here you go. Like, I want I want to work with nonprofits that are hands-on, um, in the veteran communities, um, instead of the ones that just kind of like shuffle money around. I don't I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
I don't like that. But you know,
Absolutely.
y-
Absolutely.
and and
So we got
and, and
comment
Navy
from
cop,
Navy Cop and
yep,
England. Yeah.
collaboration, not competition. And that is right. And we've I just talked with some of the nonprofits. We have a meeting every now and then, and 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 it's not a competition for money. It's not. It's all the same money. We all have the common thing of helping veterans, period. Hands down. That's it. It's very simple. We are set up to help veterans. It does not matter who gets the money as long as we are helping the veteran community one veteran at a time.
That's it.
I don't
I
care.
love that, man. Yeah. There's
I
a
don't
big pot of
care.
money, right?
It's a big pot of money. I don't care if I get any of the money. But I know there are other nonprofits here in Alabama that have already
Mhm.
said, I got you, whatever you need. I told one of the nonprofits that I got the land, and she was like, let us know when you want some horses.
What? Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, it's that simple. If you're legit, and if you truly are a doer in the nonprofit world, other nonprofits will see that and they will
Mhm.
help. They will drop
Yeah.
everything to help
No,
you
100%. 100%.
because
I truly believe that.
they want us to succeed, and this I want to succeed. I fear every day. I always I don't want to fail at this venture because it is so important for veterans to have a place to heal.
Yeah.
And they don't have, if they're on the streets with their cart full of stuff, they're not healing, they're just surviving. And even in the active duty world, I'm getting like just to my face, just rumblings about fear of going to get help,
Hmm.
going to medical. They don't want to seem weak to their, the subordinates or their higher
Right.
ups.
Right.
They don't want to ruin their career. They don't want to uh, lose their, security clearance.
That's right. Yeah.
Those
Yeah. Yeah.
stigmas are still out there.
There's always that talk of that.
Yeah,
And that's because that was something that I feared as well when I was in, because the security clearance was a big thing, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
you didn't want to lose that, so it was like, shoot, I had senior folks who mentioned like, hey, yeah, I cannot go. Like this is like behind closed door conversations, right?
right.
Like I'm
Yep.
gonna name names, but they confided in me, like, dude, I'm not gonna go. This is like really messing me up. I'm not gonna go because I can lose my top secret clearance or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I mean, you could, but you could also lose your mind and you might want to go seek some help. You can always get better, maybe reapply. I don't know. But I mean, is a job worth your sanity?
No, it's not. It's not at all. But
Yeah.
while we're in the military, we think it is, right? Like they,
Yeah. Because it's always the mission, right? The mission
correct, correct.
that's
Yep.
but the mission will always go on with or
Right.
without you, right?
Yeah.
As we all know.
And oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking to some and they're just like they these active duty members think the mission is gonna fail if they go on leave or if they take time for their own family. Like,
Yeah.
oh, can't do that. And that is not the case at all. At all. The mission will always get done whether you're there or not.
Right. I'd say one thing, and this is something I learned early on: just do not be the single point of failure. Right. Teach those
Right.
around you to
Yes.
take over parts of your job. That way, you
Yeah.
can go on leave with a clear mind, knowing that the mission is being taken care of. You don't want to be the only guy with a password to the thing that's going to ruin everything and then go on leave and everybody's running around with their head cut off. You come back
Right.
and everything's on fire, right?
And
Yeah,
that's it.
teach those.
Trust. You got to
Yes.
trust. You got to trust your people to
Oh,
do the
absolutely.
right thing while you're gone.
Absolutely. 100%.
Like
100%.
it's not a hard concept, but it's hard to grasp while you're in, I guess.
It is.
Um,
And it's easier to see it now that when you're out and you're like, okay,
yeah,
what was I going crazy over?
right.
Right? It's
Yeah,
like it was it's an easy concept to handle,
right.
to visualize when you're out. Man, so I got a question though about the
Sure.
your nonprofit. Okay. So for the homeless veterans, you mentioned, it gives them an address, and you mentioned a year. Does that mean that they get the address? They get to live in that home for a year until they're back on their feet? I think we got them locked up here. Something happened. Okay. I don't know if we the video locked up on Robert. We still got a visual of his hair. All good. Real quick, want to give a shout out to John. John's visiting
Oh,
us
there we go.
from
Okay,
vacation. Here we
okay.
go.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it's all good. We
Yeah.
got you back on. So yeah,
Okay.
the question again was the homeless veterans that you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay, they get up to a year on site
Correct.
because they get an address, gives them a
Right.
chance to get back on their feet. Does that
Right.
mean that they get a home for a year until they're
Correct.
able to get back on their feet, or is it like just past a year? How?
Correct.
Okay.
So I really want to. I have. We operate on goals, right? And if we give them a goal, say, hey, you have a year to get everything back in order and to get you to be productive citizens in society. Okay. But it's not that we're not going to help them. We're going to have staff on site. We're going to have somebody to help the, VA benefits route. Any legal or financial issues, we will
Mhm.
have counselors and attorneys for that stuff. Okay. Um, and the year gives them a goal to say, okay, I have a year to get things right
Yeah.
so that I can move on and let somebody else, another homeless veteran, come in and reap the same opportunities I've just been given. Now, I understand a year may be too quick. There will be an approval process where we can be like, okay, another 6 months and then another 6 months, and we will
Right.
reevaluate at the 6 month time. If they're not ready, we are not going to kick them out. Okay. Um, but I want them to take ownership. I don't want to enable them and just say, here's a home, here you go, have fun. What does that do to the veteran? Is you're not healing them, you're enabling them so that they can just
Right.
continue on to do what they do, right?
Uh,
Um,
so I envision there being like milestones, right? Like maybe by this time, 3 months in, you've applied for something. Just kind of
right,
like guiding them, not milestones, but a guide. You should be
right,
doing this at this time, okay, or having
right,
been complete with this at this time, in order to
yeah,
help them get on their feet, right?
right. One of the first things they're going to do is they're going to work on the farm, so they can choose either the agriculture side or the animal side.
Hmm.
But every day they will get up, they will have chores. The tiny homes won't have kitchens in them. So they're going to have like a small kitchenette, but no kitchens. We're going to have a central kitchen in the center
Oh,
where
communal,
everybody
yeah,
comes, a community kitchen where we will have a cook on staff, but some of them will also be assigned to the kitchen to help prep the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we are going to use, that's where the agriculture side comes in, where it's going to essentially be like a farm to table type of environment where we will
right.
use some of our product that we grow to help feed the veterans. Um, and I already have some chefs, some very um, celebrity chefs that have verbally agreed and be like, yeah, I'll come
Right
help.
on.
I'll come do that and help, design the kitchen, set up
Yeah.
the kitchen, you know, um, use their contacts to donate some of the equipment for the kitchen. Um, so we'll have that a community kitchen to help feed the people that are living on site. Um, but then once their meal's over, they'll go back to their work. It'll be a job, but they'll be working, you know, earning a little bit of money, but most of the money, obviously is, paying
Yeah.
for the house and things like that. So I just, I, my goal is for them to buy into their own healing process, because if they take their own ownership in their own stuff, then
Mhm.
maybe it'll work better for them.
Yeah, and I see
That's
a
my
lot of
theory.
greatness coming from this because you're not only giving them a place to live and to get back on their feet, you're giving them a purpose, which is to work on the farm, right? Because
Correct.
we all know that without a purpose, you're just wandering aimlessly through life, and that takes you to a dark place that you don't want to be. So you need a
Correct.
purpose. On top of that, you're giving them a sort of employment, right? They're working with
Correct.
animals, they're working on the farm, they're getting skills, something to
Correct.
put on a resume when they go
Yes.
to apply somewhere. So they're getting a skill there.
Yes.
So this is all good, man. This is amazing what you're going to
Yeah.
be doing.
I've
And
thought about it for a long time. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, about 15 years in my, Coast Guard career. Like I have always thought about creating a farm for veterans.
yeah,
Um, I thought it was going to be 20 acres, but 100 acres, there's a lot of possibilities with 100 acres, creating, just dumping concrete and making a pad and having a boat and an RV storage place, right? That
yeah,
is going to be steady income
hmm,
for the nonprofit to help sustain the project
of course,
that
of
I'm
course,
doing, so that's why 100 acres is so vital because there's so many things we can do. Have an area where it's just straight strawberries and let people come and pick strawberries. And also, I understand it's a veteran sanctuary, but I want the community to buy in also.
yeah,
Kind of like like that the movie We Bought a Zoo. Um,
right,
it's kind of like that. Uh, but I want this to be an amazing place where people come and just the weight just gets lifted off their shoulders. The greens are greener, the air is fresher,
hmm,
and when they leave for that day, um, they have a more positive mindset.
yeah. It's an escape, is what it is. I mean, I shoot, just you talking about it makes me want to go out there now. It's not even built yet, but I want to go out there
Right.
now and pick some strawberries and take the family out there for a day, right? Pet the horses and
Yep.
things like that.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing that the community comes in. Maybe they pay a small price to help the thing keep running for
Right.
such a good cause, right? Hey, we're
We
trying to get
will.
these folks on their feet.
Right.
Come
We will
help us
always
out.
just ask for donations. Obviously, strawberries, per pound,
Yeah,
peas, grapes,
yeah,
blueberries, these things that people enjoy during the summertime, watermelons, things like that. And it'll be completely separate from where like the veteran homes are going to be located on the house, the on the land. So it'll,
yeah,
100 acres. That's a huge plot of land.
yeah. It's big. It's huge.
So we can truly, separate all of these things to where, a lot of things won't be seen by the, public,
Right.
So and it's just going to be an amazing thing, and all my whole team is excited. We are excited about where we are going, thus far, and what we have achieved. Working with Bobby Henline, and forging forward.
Yeah.
Uh, it it's just amazing on Bobby Henline Foundation is another great foundation. I'm sure everybody knows who Bobby Henline is. And he is this amazing comedian now, and he is funny. And
Pull them up
if
here real quick.
anybody, yeah, if anybody had a reason to give up on life, is Bobby.
Here we go. The Forging
They,
Forward Bobby Henline
yep,
Foundation.
yep. He's turned his, um, tragedy into something very, very positive. He does his thing is he does retreats all over the United States for free for veterans and first responders, fire department, police officers. Um, and anybody can join, and it's all free. You just have to get to wherever um, his next retreat is.
Hmm.
And he does
He's
anywhere
live in
from two
Las
to
Vegas.
yep, yep. He's doing he does 2 to 3 day retreats at different places in the United States. Um, and it's like reflective art, camaraderie, hunting, fishing, golf tournaments, um, and humor.
No, this is
And
awesome, dude.
yeah, and
It makes me so much want to get involved with nonprofit and just forge forward on starting my own thing too, man.
yes,
It really is like an inspiration and like a breath of fresh air to understand how this is coming together for you and the potential of getting involved with something like this. It really
yes,
is. And then for all the other veterans listening, I mean, there's a ton of nonprofits out there,
there
and
are.
get involved in some way, shape, or form. Right? It's only going to help the
Yes,
better good of the community. You know,
yes, and I don't think veterans and active duty members they don't understand how fulfilling a 3 hour volunteer time at the USO. The US, even the something as simple as the USO, right? Everybody uses the USO at every airport,
right?
but they also are starting to expand at the big military bases where they're going to
Hmm.
have a USO on there. So right here in Fort Benning, um, when I'm not AL2LA in it, I volunteer at the USO on Fort Benning, and I absolutely love talking to these young butter bars and young soldiers about life, and they'll look at my tag and they're like, Coast Guard, you're the first Coastie I've ever met. I go, I get that a lot in Alabama and Georgia, you know. Uh, but then their eyes get wide open when they hear, oh yeah, I was in 28 years, and oh by the way, I also walked across America, for my
Yeah,
purpose, and
there's a
then
story
and then
behind the
they
man.
start, yeah, they start peppering me with questions, and then they'll go to my website, and then they'll come back. They're like, dude, you did do that, they thought I was blowing smoke, and
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I just did it. Like, if you set your mind to something, you can do it. Anybody can do it. It's
right,
just
right.
but train properly, right? Like, people ask, you gonna do it again? I'll never do that again, ever. uh, uh, but I don't want to discourage anybody from not doing it. I
Right.
will help them. Absolutely. I will guide them in every single aspect of what I did for training, and how I set up my car, and footwear and equipment and gear, and food, and
I'm
the
sure you
route.
learned a lot too. Like you did something wrong and you learned maybe I should have probably done it this way.
You should have saw me when I was prepping for it, right? TikTok shop was my best friend.
Yeah.
It's like the worst place to shop, right? You need survivor gear, and I'm shopping on TikTok Shop instead of some of the survival websites that I should be going
Right.
to, like REI and the
Yeah.
legit stores that offer the best stuff. Um, but I just learned what worked and what didn't work. My cart was packed. I say my cart was probably pushing close to 200 pounds of stuff in it, right?
And just
I say about
just to make sure, like for folks out there listening, this is a push cart, right?
push cart, correct.
Like
So
ones
I
that you put
had
on the back of a bike or something.
right. I actually went to REI and purchased a double stroller.
Okay.
The Burley double stroller is the best double stroller you can get for this type of walk across America. One, because you don't have any weight on your shoulders and all that, and all you got to do is push it. And they have it's three big wheels, but the wheels are really was one of my biggest expenses. My wheels were about $900 alone because they were um, Kevlar lined
Yeah.
wheels with Kevlar tubing, so completely puncture proof. Um, because I did not want to deal with flat tires. On that
Right.
was like my
Right.
one of my biggest fears. That and pooping my pants on the side of the road. Those are my
Did you
two biggest fears.
did you wear diapers, dude, or did you stop?
No,
Okay.
no, I everywhere like I before I left every morning I made sure I did my
Okay.
business
All right.
at least twice.
Okay.
Um, and then I would start my walk for the day. That was, and it only, I got the best story. The best story. The one time it happened, the one time I was in Arizona and it took me some crazy route. I ended up on the train tracks on a trail for like
Hmm.
12 miles. And there were like service trains that came like once every couple hours. So I was like timing it right. And one passed and I was like, okay. And I know exactly where I was at because there's one of the geo markers that, they put in the stone to say, okay, this place is marked geographically. And I had to do number two. And there was a mound of uh beach chip gravel that was used for the train tracks. Like it's just there just in prep in case they need it for one of the places. Train passes, I was like, okay, I got some time now. I can do it. So I drop chow and I'm leaning against the rocks. And lo and behold, I hear a and I'm like,
Mm.
no way is this happening. And of course, it's a worker train just crawling. And I'm there
Oh.
and I can't stop. And the guy, we are locking eyes and he just waves and I'm like,
Never make
I was
eye
just like,
contact. Never make eye
I just
contact.
couldn't believe it. I was like, of course. The one time that I had to do it out in the, open, a train goes by.
Ah, it makes for a good story, man. Good
Oh,
experience.
it was great. It really was. I loved it. And that's gonna be in the book. And hopefully, if my book translates to a movie, it's definitely gonna be in there.
That's awesome. So,
Because
so
that's one of the things.
tell me about the book, man. So I'm just hearing this now for the first time. So
Yeah, so
when's it coming out? What's the title? Do you have any of that
yeah,
already done scheduled?
so the title is gonna be called One Step at a Time.
Okay.
Um, it's um, it's essentially a veteran's guide to what's going to happen when you get out of the military to a T, and then it'll segue into how.
Here, you might have locked, but I got locked again. So it's called One Step at a Time. Robert's book. We'll figure out when it's going to come out. It's definitely going to go on my shopping list, my shopping cart.
Yep,
One
one
step at a
step at a
time.
time. And when it's going to get released, I don't know because I'm not a writer and I don't know how to write. But what I do is I think of different situations and then I voice dictate it of how I felt, what happened, and all of that. And then once all of that's done, I'm going to give it to a ghostwriter and let them.
Do their magic. That's probably a good way too, because when you're annotating your events, right? You're annotating events that happen along your way through the Coast Guard and even beyond, and you hand that log of events to a ghostwriter, and they can compile it into a good story. They just clean it up a little bit. Very good, very good. So we got really quick while we figure out some video stuff. We got some comments here from the group, from the chat. We got Sergeant Major retired Justin LeHue says, "Great job for you both for the different reasons you were each doing what you were doing, reinforcing a lot of the same themes: veterans helping veterans, support legit nonprofits, and be authentically genuine in what you do. Walked across America in 2022, supporting numerous veteran causes and haven't stopped walking since. Keep attacking and doing great things. Semper Fi." Hey, thanks a lot, Justin. Great to hear from you. Let me see. We got another one here from Navy Cop. Always great to have you on the show, Navy Cop. He's one of the guys who shows up at every show. It says, "The scope creep I am dealing with listening to these ideas and such while trying to rein in my thoughts on the project. I'm just getting started is ridiculous. Love this, and ideas are coming." So, hey, there he is. There's the man.
There he is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was just reading
Yeah,
some comments on here.
I just saw that one. Yeah. It I think the veteran community, we have the thoughts, we have the ideas.
Yeah,
It's just putting them into action, right? How do you do it? And you just got to just do it. One of the things, Vicky, you were talking about, and when we were talking offline is, because you were asking me like how to start a nonprofit, right?
yeah.
One of the things I need to let people know is, um, be prepared to be out a lot of money before you start bringing in money. Because one of the things that I have definitely learned is people are very shy about donating money to
Hmm.
nonprofits because they see a lot of nonprofits where their admin percentage is like at 90%, so 90% of the money donated goes to
Yeah,
admin,
yeah.
and things like that. Um,
Marketing and stuff.
Correct.
All right.
Gear, swag, just to get your name out there. So that's one of the things. Travel, that's on you. Like if you're the president and founder of this, it's going to be on you as a person. Um, but once people start seeing the the products of things like Preacher's Home with the collaboration of the two other nonprofits is propelling my nonprofit
Hmm.
even further. I mean, like we're global now, and that scares the crap out of me. That really does,
What's scary
Um,
about it? The success?
uh, failing,
Okay.
failing. You know, I don't want to fail. I don't want to let my donors down. I don't want to let myself down. You know, um, and ensuring and letting my donors know that I 99% of the money right now is going straight to veterans and veteran causes. Whether I am paying for a water bill or helping with an electric bill or getting furniture or appliances for veterans. It's that's where it's going. I'm in my garage. So right now. I have board members that live in New York, California, um, Arkansas. Um, and they're putting in their own money because they believe in this AL2LA foundation,
Yeah.
and having them behind me and supporting me and my vision is amazing. Is amazing that they trust, me, uh, in doing right for veterans. And
But it's a good mission. I mean, you have a good vision, right?
yeah,
You know where you want to be. You know where you want the organization to be.
right,
You know who
yep,
you want to help. You know
yeah,
how you want to go about doing that. You laid out the
yep,
groundwork. It's
yep,
like showing them a map, right? You laid out the groundwork. Here's where we are. Here's where we want to be. Are you on board with me or not? And
right,
they believe in your mission, and that's what matters, right? You got people
yeah,
behind you who believe in you, who can support it.
yes, yeah. Yeah, it's it's I don't know. I struggle with, I like anything. I still struggle with, the thoughts
Yeah.
and all that. And especially the thoughts of like people actually believe in me and believe in what I'm trying to do and getting on the train with me
Hmm.
um to do this. And I am extremely thankful and humbled. Um and yeah, that's where we're at right now. Um, we're now riding the coattails of a preacher project. I've been reached out. A couple of VFWs have asked me to be keynote speakers
Nice.
for events coming up throughout the year. So I'm already booked up, and I'm booked up to November now. Um, I don't know about this, Vic, but it may be something you may want to come to Atlanta for. There's a
Yeah.
military influencers conference.
Oh
The
yeah, John and I have been talking about that.
oh,
So he went to the one last year. I wasn't able to come. I had a thing at
okay,
the Naval Academy with my kid.
yeah.
But now it's in August or September, one of those two
Says
months
September. It says
in September.
September because I'm
Okay.
going. So it's literally hour and a half away from me. So
Y- Yeah. So
uh,
I have made plans on going myself.
okay,
So together with John, and I know there's a bunch of other people I connected with on LinkedIn and through the podcast and all that. We're looking to come together, hang out, have a drink, just talk about good times and what we're doing for the veteran community over at the Mill.
yes,
So
yes.
Military Influencers Conference.
And if you come out, set aside a couple days so you can come down here, and I can take you to a couple of the other um, veteran nonprofits that I'm working with.
Yeah.
And both of them are horse equine therapy centers for veterans. Um, One is 110 acres, and the other one's like a 23-acre horse farm
Okay.
for veterans. And of course, show you, you know, best college in the world, Auburn University. Uh, you know, with
No,
only the
this
best
this is
athletes to
great.
ever come out.
Is that right?
Yeah, Bo
No, so
Jackson.
Bo Jackson, right? He played
Yep,
baseball, football, all that. My kid won't
all
stop
of it.
talking about Bo Jackson. My kid loves that kid, that dude.
Oh,
Bo
yeah.
knows baseball. Bo knows everything. I named my dog
Bo
after Bo
knows.
Jackson.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
no, so yeah, I definitely have plans on going to the Military Influencers Conference. Are you going to be
Okay.
speaking over there, or are you attending this time
No,
around?
I'm just attending this going around. I don't think they really know me yet. So um,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Because yeah, I got a message like, "Are you going to be speaking?" I was like, "No, dude, I never go to speak to something I've never been to before.
Right.
I want to feel it out.
Exactly.
The
Yep.
crowd, who's there. I don't want to show up and just not know what the hell's going on. So
Right.
this will be my first year going, and I'm totally excited. And anybody out there listening too, it's completely open to anybody. I think so.
Correct. It
Military
is.
Influencers Conference, check it
Yep.
out. I'll be there. John will be there. We all know Robert will
I'll
be
be
there.
there. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of folks, man.
A lot of folks.
Yeah, and I'll set aside some time to come down your way and check out your stuff. I was
Yeah.
just having a talk with somebody about it this week. Like, hey, so the green logbook, right? I'm trying to figure out
Hmm.
how, like, which direction I want to go. So I do a lot of writing in my journals, and I have a whole library of green logbooks. Those little military logbooks that they used to give
Hmm.
us,
Yep.
an entire library from when I was an E3 all the way to when I was a Chief Warrant Officer 3. Just 20 encompassing 20 years. It's all in my garage on the shelf. And every so often I go through these things and I look it up. And that's a big reason why I call the channel the Green Logbook. Just kind of notes to myself
Right.
on my career, on life after the military, things like that. And I thought of it. I'm like, where do I want to take this? And I think a big part of it was going to experience these things with veterans and nonprofits, right? Like, hey, there's a nonprofit here that does equine therapy. I want to go over there and meet with these people, talk about it, film it, have real conversations with folks on what they're doing for the veteran community. The next week, I'll go to a different nonprofit, check them out, check them out. So I think I'm going to be bouncing around the country a little bit right now that I have some time, because I did take the DRP from my job, the deferred resignation program from my job. So I'm good now and for a few months. But yeah, I think that's where I want to take it, man. I really want to highlight a lot of nonprofits and see how they're doing, what they're doing, and who they're
If
helping.
pull up sssvp.org,
SSSVP.org.
SSSVP.org. So this is a nonprofit I'm working with also, and this
Is
is
this the one here?
the correct. This is the 100 and something acres, um, and that couple right there is truly amazing. So she's a clinical therapist, and on
Hmm.
Mondays and Tuesdays she does clinical, and then the rest of the week is with the horses, and it's all groundwork. There's no riding or anything, and they take wild Mustangs, and then they break them in, and then let people work with the horses, tend to the horses,
Oh,
um, on a daily basis. They also are doing a housing initiative.
oh, yeah, that's awesome. I see that here.
Correct. Yep. So they have the same vision as I do.
Hmm.
They're just in a different part of Alabama, and uh, that's one of the ones that I want to take you to when you come down in September.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely, man. I
it's
mean, I
tremendous.
love this. I love the idea of the horses, the land. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. Look at the landscape
Oh,
there. You got the mountain in the
it's
background. You got a pond there. It's beautiful, dude. And I would
it's
love to do something like that.
stunning.
As we mentioned, it's going to be hard for somebody to give me 100 acres in California. So
Right,
that's probably not
exactly.
going to happen.
Oh, yeah,
But
I totally understand, right?
over on the
I
East
I
Coast, maybe.
I can't thank Bobby Henline Comedy, because that guy was at the comedy show. He heard my story when I spoke briefly on it, and then he pulled me to the side and he said, "Hey, I want to donate 100 acres to you." And I was
Hmm.
just like, "Wow!"
Yeah,
So
that's huge.
we're getting all the legal stuff done and all that stuff. So starting starting that process, and then we'll see where it goes. You know.
No, this is awesome, man. I'm gonna have to switch up my schedule now a little bit so I can start fitting more things in here. But I
Yes.
mean, for you, Rob, I'll do that absolutely, dude. This
Did
looks
it?
amazing. I would love to spend
Yeah.
some time, meet these good folks, and
Yeah.
it's called what's it called? SSVP.org, a sustainable veteran community, Samson's Strength Sustainable Veterans Project. Let me pull it back up here on
Correct.
the stage. And
Yep.
they're out of Alabama, is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. And it looks like, I mean, they're understanding stress, trauma, and the brain, just
Right.
horses and every dollar counts. It seems like these folks are doing great things. I know they're doing great things.
Right.
Fun
And
therapy.
and and they approached me. They had heard about me, and they approached me, and they were like, "We want to take you under our wing, and we want to teach you everything about the nonprofit world, so that you don't make the mistakes that we made, or we can help you do things better than what we are doing them." And I love that. Like,
Yeah,
they don't want to see any nonprofit fail. They want to help nonprofits. And that is so key, because we are not in competition. We are
right.
not. We all have the same goal of helping veterans, period. Hands down, it's plain as pie.
Yeah, each
So,
one teach one, man. That's probably the best way. So, like when I reached out to you
yep,
about the whole nonprofit thing,
right.
you were a complete open book, dude. You talk to me about it. I'm like, this is a ton of information. I'm trying to write things down, but I'm like, I got to see it firsthand how it works
Yes.
because I'm
Yes.
very interested in the whole nonprofit world,
Yep.
right? So if
And you
somebody's
don't,
taking you under the wing and teaching you, even better. These folks are
yes,
teaching you everything you need to know. Excellent.
yes. They introduced me to the head of the nonprofit organization here in Alabama,
Mhm.
where he's in charge of getting all of the money. right, from all the
Right.
corporations. And then
Right.
he divvies it out in Alabama. He was like, "Hey, come up. I'm going to teach you because I want you to start like reviewing applications so that you
Okay.
can see what we're looking for and what to do and what not to do in the application process." Like even the head guy was like, "I heard about you. I want to help and you're awesome." And I was just like, "You're awesome for coming up to me and offering your services to help me because he doesn't have to do that.
Right.
Triple SVP doesn't have to do that." Um, the other thing is we're kind of like in talks about, and this is one of the last things I'll talk about is um, in the nonprofit world, we're not constrained by like what the DoD has to, push out and things like that to their
Right.
soldiers. So what we have been talking about is, and it's worked a couple times already, we offer deflection lunches, I guess you could say. It all started, we got contacted by a National Guard unit in Alabama saying, "Hey, we're having a high rate of suicidal thoughts and attempts in our unit. We're doing a lunch. Can you guys come and talk about your nonprofits?" Absolutely. No problem. And we don't even mention suicide. We don't mention any of that stuff. We talk about our nonprofits and then we eat lunch with them. And that's where the soldiers they'll start pulling us aside. "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?
Hmm.
Can we go over here?" And then they open up because they love what we're doing. Um, I do talk about my episode. And once people hear and see me talking about very openly and very graphically about that night and that 72-hour period, man, those guys, they just open up to me and they text me. They're like, I got text from the head warrant. "Hey, this guy is looking to reach out to you. Is it okay if I give you a number?" Absolutely. You don't have to ask ever again. If you have somebody in your unit that needs to talk to me, just give them my phone number.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
like
excellent, man.
there's
It's the
no
genuine connection. The genuine people
yes,
resonate with that stuff.
yes,
Because
yes,
they're not going to tell, like, just like what we talked about. They're not going to tell folks because of the potential repercussions, right? They're
right.
not going to tell everybody, "Hey, look, I'm going through some dark episodes." But when they can resonate with your story, it
Yeah,
brings another side out to them, and they want to connect with a fellow veteran who
right.
has potentially gone through something like that.
Right. And also they know that they're telling the stuff in confidence, and we don't have to report it to anybody. We're it stays within us between A and B. That's it. Doesn't
Hmm.
go in your medical record. It doesn't go to your commanding officer. None of that. Right? You want to come to the retreat? Come to the retreat. You
Yeah,
know, that's 3 days of therapy, and nothing ever gets reported. Where were you at? "Oh, I was in Alabama camping out." That's exactly what it is.
I envision too is maybe like a large bonfire on the
Oh,
property and
100%.
just sitting around talking
Yep.
stories,
Yep.
talking stories
And
of brotherhood, sisterhood, things like that, of just
yep.
coming together. Yeah.
Yep. And we're gonna do that. That's a thanks for reminding me because that's gonna be like a every Friday event. Every Friday night will be bonfire night because come Saturday we'll probably have people come pick strawberries, blueberries, things like that during the summer. So every Friday night it'll be the bonfire night for the veterans. Come out, eat some hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever we decide to cook that day,
Hmm.
and do it up, and continue that camaraderie, and it's
That's
just going to
excellent,
be a
man.
really great thing, man. It's going to be a
If you
great thing.
if you ever need somebody to come and like lead an art class, I love doing that stuff. I did it here downtown. I work with an organization here, Armed Services Arts Partnership, and I volunteer with them. I try to help them out, and I run art classes for veterans.
Okay.
down here, and we just kind of do. I like architectural art and stuff like that, so I kind of just talk
Hmm.
to them about the 3D and how to make it pop and the lines and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun. So if you ever need somebody, I'm your man. Let me know.
Sure.
I'll get a ticket out there in
Absolutely.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, dude, it has been great, Robert, to connect with you again. You're a true friend, man. I love talking to you.
Thank you, man.
I
And
love that.
likewise.
I love that you've always got something going on.
Yeah.
And for the veteran community, and you care so much, man, and it really shows. And I hope that everything that you envision comes to fruition and comes to life. And I cannot wait
Right.
to see you over at the Nick and then check out all your projects as they come to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. And if you ever need me to come out to San Diego to speak or, you know, talk to some folks, just let me know. I'm only a flight away, 5.5 hours maybe. So, but that's it. No
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely, man. San Diego.
All right. Yeah.
Awesome, brother.
Been there. Been there, done that.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, great having you
Okay.
on here, man.
Okay.
al to la.us is where you can find Robert
Yep.
Luna. Here, let me actually put it on the banner
Yep.
here at the bottom.
Also,
Uh,
Facebook, Instagram, um, and TikTok. So yeah, we're all there, and hopefully some more stuff is coming online here soon. I'm kind of taking a lull from the preacher project. That was a big project, huge success. So we're just kind of taking a break and waiting for the next project to come up.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thank you. And then you
All
can
right.
find us on, if you want to send us an email, you can find us at info@militaryretirementpodcast.com. If you want to be a potential guest on the show, info@militaryretirementpodcast.com. Check out our book on Amazon. It's called Bottom Line Up Front. Just go on Amazon on the top. Just type in Bottom Line Up Front book. It's usually the first one that comes up by me and John. 10 short chapters on what you need to know after you leave the military and during the whole transition process. The Green Logbook on YouTube is my own personal channel. And yeah, it's we have a Facebook group called the Military Retirement Group on there. It's not just for military retirees. Veterans can come on there. It doesn't matter if you did 4 years or 40 years. It doesn't matter. The Military Retirement Group on Facebook. We're about 2,600 strong right now, having good
Yep.
conversations about everything: education, life, passions, next mission in life, everything, all of the above. So, again, Robert, thank you for coming on, man. It was an awesome
Oh, thanks,
episode
Nick.
and a pleasure to
Yeah.
have you.
Thanks for letting me co-host for once. It's my first
Absolutely,
time.
man. You're welcome back
All right.
anytime, dude.
All right.
All right,
I'll see you
out
guys
here.
later. All right.